Maker's blessing, child. I am Elthina, Grand Cleric of Kirkwall, and I believe you're new to our city. It was a near thing what happened in Ferelden, but in the end, the Maker stepped in.
I knew the hero of Ferelden had outside help.
Mankind has been a trial to him. We have turned our backs too many times.
My back's the best part of me. What, he doesn't appreciate the view?
He must allow us to suffer the consequences of our actions. But he never burdens us with more than we can overcome.
The hero of Ferelden stopped the Blight. The Maker had nothing to do with it.
Sometimes the Maker chooses the most unlikely vessels. Even a mage may be doing his work. We never know whose hand he may favor. Even a dwarf may be doing his work.
Why do I get the feeling you haven't met that many dwarves, Your Grace?
He wouldn't let the Darkspawn win.
Took his bloody time.
I hear a lot about the Knight Commander here. What can you tell me?
Gossip is a sin, child. Knight Commander Meredith has an admirable devotion to her duties.
To the exclusion of all else.
It is not my role to form opinions on her character.
Why are Circle Mages here kept in a Tevinter prison?
Ah, so soon you take an interest in our problems. The short answer is it was a building. A large one. Should it have sat empty? The Chantry found a use for what was once a horror.
Once a horror? Yes, I'm sure it's filled with flowers and sunshine and happiness now.
It is the nature of men to move on and forget the past. Even your blight will be a distant memory in our lifetimes.
Can I get your benediction?
May the Maker bless and keep you. May his smile grace all the days of your life, and his light guide you to his side.
So let it be.
So let it be. I'm sorry you had to witness that disgraceful scene by the Chanter's Board. I am Elthina, Grand Cleric of Kirkwall. Sebastian's normally a good lad, but he's had a terrible shock.
Sebastian? Was that his name?
Sebastian Vale. He was affirmed here nearly a decade ago. He had just been invested as a brother when we got the news about his family. I'm afraid he reacted rashly, denied his vows and left the Chantry. If the Maker wills it, he will return to himself before it's too late.
So he's some kind of priest?
He is an initiate of the faith. As a man, he cannot serve as a mother would, but he has led the chant here many times. Before last week, I would have said he was the most faithful of our true believers.
He said someone murdered his family.
Sebastian is the youngest son of the ruling family of Starkhaven. They were overthrown recently, violently. Sebastian is the only surviving member.
He's royalty?
Prince Sebastian Vale, if he succeeds in his pledge to take back his lands. He made a vow to the Maker to put worldly concerns behind him. It is a sin to forswear himself for a mere title.
I think his family deserves to be avenged.
Sebastian would spend his coin to buy men's lives, the same as those who attacked his family. No matter how justified he feels, that is murder. And when he returns, I will tell him so again. Your grandparents would be so proud of you. When I was a girl, the Amels were one of our most prominent families. I'm glad to have one of their line in the estate again. How can I help you?
What is the Chantry's stance on the Qunari presence here?
Would it help anything for us to get involved? Or is it more likely to light the kindling? If the Qunari act against us, the Templars will defend Kirkwall. Otherwise, we guard ourselves best by waiting.
How long have you been Grand Cleric?
I became a lay sister here when I was only a girl. My parents died of fever, and I was taken in by the Chantry. Eventually, I took my vows. After I had served for some time, the revered mothers agreed that I should travel to Orlais. The Divine herself appointed me Grand Cleric of Kirkwall. That was near 30 years ago.
You knew my grandparents?
I dedicated your mother into the Chantry. She was a beautiful baby. Your grandmother was a very proper lady, but she was beside herself that day. And your mother put a fist in my eye.
I'd always welcome your benediction.
Andraste, guide your steps in this difficult time.
Did you know someone used the authority of your name to instigate a crime against the Qunari?
The path to righteousness is never as straight and narrow as we wish. I truly hoped this would not go so far, but do not trouble yourself. I will step in when it's time.
Is it true the Templars are planning to use the Rite of Tranquility on every mage in the city?
What? No. It's not an uncommon gripe to hear in the Templar barracks, but the Chantry has never supported such a thing.
Of course you wouldn't admit to it.
I think you should see these papers.
Sir Ulrich, where did you get these? He was murdered in the gallows not a few days ago.
He was trying to turn every mage in Kirkwall tranquil.
Sir Ulrich made a suggestion, yes. But we turned him down. The Rite of Tranquility has always been a last resort. It has saved lives, but it is not without its costs. If you'll excuse me.
Are you intending to stay neutral about the Qunari and mages forever?
The Maker's time is not men's time. We do not need to rush.
I'll have to remember that line the next time I'm late.
The Chantry is not a domineering father with the whip always in hand. She is a gentle mother who knows her children learn best when allowed to learn themselves. I cannot fault Sebastian for wanting to know why an old ally would turn against his parents. But I fear he's too impetuous. He may do something he regrets. Please, go with him, try to restrain him. If the Harrimans are guilty, they will receive justice from the Viscount. Sebastian need not take their punishment into his own hands.
Just get out of my way.
You disapprove of me. You think I should send the Templars against the Qunari, perhaps? Destroy the mages, or set them free? There are many strong opinions in this city, child. It is not my place to decide who is right. I hope you haven't come to try to talk me into leaving again. Kirkwall needs a steadying hand on its reins now more than ever. Orsino and the Knight Commander grow more fractious by the day.
Oh, come on. That wouldn't have been half as fun without an audience.
If they had come to blows, this whole city might have erupted.
There must be a way to satisfy both sides.
I pray you are right.
The only way this will end is when one of them kills the other.
I hope you're wrong. I've been talking with them both. Orsino is not an unreasonable man. Surely a compromise can be reached.
Who is Sebastian? Is he just a brother in the Chantry?
Now, he was a Prince of Starkhaven, until his family was murdered by a rival. But Sebastian was pledged here long before that. It is occasionally useful to know a man of faith with martial training, whose first loyalty is not to Meredith.
Who you have armed and encouraged.
He is my eyes and ears in the city. He brings disturbing news of the growing unrest between the mages and Templars. Maker's blessing, champion. Have you come to pray?
So, hypothetically, if there were a group of people being brutally subjugated by another, wouldn't the Maker favor the oppressed?
You speak of mages. It's no secret that you count apostates among your friends, champion. You have done much to fan the flames of rebellion here. We must give Meredith and Orsino time to work out their differences. No good can come of showing favor to one side.
Couldn't you solve this problem if you just spoke out?
How would that help? Both sides make good points. Both have flaws.
At some point, right must be decided.
For 1,000 years, the Chantry has had to find the balance between them. That hasn't changed here.
I guess that means you're not ready to disband the Templars and set every mage free?
I feel for the mages, I do. I would not wish to be locked in the gallows. But I cannot take sides. We are all the Maker's creatures, but magic allows abuses beyond the scope of mortals. I only hope I can balance the needs of everyone. For if it comes to war, it is the people of this city who will lose.
There you are. I've been looking for you all over.
Your Grace?
Your soul is troubled, child. I hope you found a balm for it here.
I understand. You are the voice of the Chantry. You can't turn against its own institutions.
That's not what I'm saying. I do not support the Knight Commander's methods. But I cannot take sides. We are all the Maker's creatures, but magic allows abuses beyond the scope of mortals. I only hope I can balance the needs of everyone. For if it comes to war, it is the people of this city who will lose.
The Maker abandoned us long ago, if he ever existed. What good would your blessing do me?
It might help settle that anger. It's hard to accept that there is no divine hand we can look to for guidance. But mankind has turned on the Maker twice. Now we are the ones who must prove our love for him.
Can you offer me your blessing?
May Andraste lend you strength until you ascend to be with the Maker. This is a grave time. It is good to know you will face it in the Maker's grace. Is there some other reason you're here?
I was just leaving.
You are the Maker's child, Champion. Whether you embrace him or not. You look concerned, Champion. Is there a problem?
There are apostates plotting something against the Chantry.
And the sky is blue and the rains come in the spring.
What are you doing?
Anders, is it not? It's no secret you have close associates who are apostates, Champion. I do not doubt you know of one's plans, but mages have threatened me before. I cannot turn on my Templars, on the very words of Andraste for fear. No matter how justified that fear might be.